All right, welcome everyone to the Dev Fireside Chat. We've been away for about a week now, actually, 2 weeks, because we had skipped last week with all the events and things going on. So it's been kind of impractical to only have like a very less than skeleton crew on for recording, so we decided to postpone for this week. But welcome back. We are here and in the flesh. Joining me today is we have Kajros, who handles all of our streams and media in terms of like recordings and all that kind of stuff, and Sean, or Lysania, who is our event coordinator and handles a lot of the community events in Guns of Icarus Online. And then, of course, there's myself. But getting right into the thick of it, of course, as per tradition, we need to cover the weather because, as we were discussing pre-stream, like,
let me open the window.
It seems to open up these new concepts. So I don't know about you guys, but like I'm sure this is like laughable when you hear about it, Sean. But like I've been dealing with like almost 30 degrees Celsius, which is like 80.
That's like high 80s if I remember
correctly. High 80s, yeah. It's like pretty warm, and for me that's cooking. So and my apartment's like 10 degrees Celsius warmer, so it's like easily in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
With air conditioning, like full blast constantly, because I'm just like, I can't handle this. Like, computers on, like, just
indoors.
The insulating heat, you know? It's weird because it doesn't insulate any of that during the winters, which is like, oh, my God.
Yeah, indoors 80 degrees? Ooh, I don't even want any part of that. Outdoors 80s? Give me that all day. Twice on Sundays, please. Send that my way. I'll trade problems with you on that one.
I don't actually have a problem with heat as much if it's like dry heat. If it's like really muggy though, it's like
yeah, you can have
south
that.
In the US is like that. That's really rough, man.
Yeah, we have all the humidity down here. Have it.
We had 37 degrees in here, and as you can see by the lines behind me, I have a window right here, and when from like 1 to 7 p.m. the sun is just burning through my window, so I have like 40 degrees Celsius in here. And that's my office as well, so I mean, boiling. And I don't have air conditioning. I only just have this fan here, which you don't see. Well, you see it. So yeah, that's my environment.
Well, what about you, Sean? What's the weather like in good old America land?
Let's see. On the sidewalks, I see an egg cooking, and that's about all I got. Clear skies and eggs frying.
Wow.
Back to you in the studio.
Wow. Okay, well, that said, weather out of the way now. I guess for some of you who are, paying attention to the trends going on in the game, we're at war. The war has broken out, and we've kind of set up the alliances and the missions and everything's ready to go. I guess we could take a moment to explain a little bit about what we were looking into when we did this. So obviously we wanted to see a war kind of break out at some point during the summer because there's been a lot of like hiccups and slowdowns because of sales and launches and things like that. So that's why the war took so long. Usually we want to keep it on a monthly rate, but it's been like a 6-week rotation, as I think is what we go for. But it really depends on what you guys do, and some of the expectations were met, some of them were not. Some of our inputs were not sufficient enough, and others were. Like, I don't know, there's like some weeks we'd see like factions we were sure were going to like break the, the 90% mark or whatever. But then they went from like 5 to 60 or 50. We've seen like, I think it was Baronies that was really strong.
Yes.
And then they just collapsed. And
Yesha
blew up. Or no, it was Anglia that blew up, and then they collapsed. And then
Baronies went up again, and then they collapsed again because they had there was a max exodus of leaders. So I mean, these things happen, ebb and flow of war.
Yeah, well, it is true, but like at the same time, we're like, wars need to start though. We need to have something going on here. So, we've kind of carefully, angled all the alliances. We wanted to give everyone a chance, of course, but we wanted to start accelerating this process. So the war has started. I believe Yesha was the trigger for it, and
Correct.
Mercantile is the counter, which is the second place faction. So we looked at these two alliances, and we're like, okay, so these are the guys, these are the two opponents, which is nice because I don't think Yesha actually has Yesha led any alliance before? I don't think so.
Yesha actually has never led alliance until they literally hit 100%. They have never led an alliance prior to that. They went from basically second place, jumping to the 100% break it. So this was a breakthrough for them.
Right. Okay. So cool. I mean, that's really nice to see a different change of pace for that matter. Now we're aware that I think it was Anglia and I'm not sure if it was Anglia and Yesha or Anglia and Arashi that were working together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like the thing is like we don't try not to be too arbitrary with our alliances because obviously we have to look at how we set these up for you guys. So we look a bit at the strengths of both sides because we want to make sure that both proficiency and territorial expansion is balanced with each other. We don't want one side lopsided with the other or whatever. At the same time, we wanted to figure out how the alliances worked because I know, quite contrary to our design of the game, a lot of the players tend to set up these kind of mini alliances during the faction wars, which we've kind of actually taken that and played with it, and ran with it. So, bearing these in mind, setting these three up in the West was there was a couple of different approaches, but I think that was the one that made most sense in terms of territorial composition. I usually like to do patchwork, so I make really crazy front lines everywhere, but in this situation, that was the best outcome. And unfortunately, I know that Chaludon and Mercantile have a history of being rivals. Some of them were justified because Mercantile, I know one time they were pushed into the same alliance because they were simply crushed by Mercantile. So in that mindset, it was sort of like a vassalage. But with this one, it was a hard call, I think. We have lore that's been written up for it. I believe it's been posted on Discord. Is that right, Sean?
That I would have to check on. I believe Inkjet and Richard are on that right now.
Yeah. So I know that we're updating a lot of the lore content in the game and on our Discord, so you can check out sort of what we were thinking about lore-wise, how that would all fit together. And ultimately, I think that was that was the virtual outcome to it all. So that's kind of the alliance. So it's essentially an East versus West. It's very straightforward. But we did try out a couple of different missions. We wanted to give you guys 3 options. I know we've done 2 before, and we've even considered just doing 1 standard one. But I know people like choice, so we tried out a couple of different things. I believe was the Yesha Alliance needs to have 10 more territories. Is that right?
No, that is not correct.
Okay,
in fact,
go ahead,
both of them chose the same option. So the 2 specific territories is the call for both sides. Helicon Cartel needs to control Kinjuru and Caldera, while the Sungin March needs to control Raven Rock and Vamarea.
Okay, so that's going to be pretty intense, actually, because there's a lot of... we try to set those up to be within reach, but still challenging.
Yes.
I know in the past we've tried a couple different configurations, and they've always been kind of hard or too easy, and it's been kind of like a mixture of the two. So hopefully this time around we've actually polished it just right for you guys. So we'll see how that goes out. Also, in our pipeline, we don't have dates yet, but we do have an update coming up very, very soon, possibly as early as next week. So we'll keep you guys posted with announcements, but be aware that that's kind of in the pipeline. I know that some of you guys have been helping us with testing some of the content in the game, among them being the new, I think it's called Brawl mode or Brawler mode. It's one of the two. I don't know if we've stuck with the name yet. I haven't updated my reading on the docs yet, but that said, it is a 2v2v2 or 2v2v2v2. I believe it's the latter one first that we're introducing, which is literally 4 teams facing off with each other as pairings. So it's sort of like a free-for-all. The difference is that it's not really free-for-all. You do have a partnership like it is in tradition with the core of the game concept, but you are facing off with multiple teams now. So this changes the dynamic dramatically. And I'll see if I can try to do something for the first dev games following that update. You know, it's going to require a lot of people, but I'm pretty sure if we get enough for that time, we'll try it out. We'll definitely give it a shot. So, so there's that one. We're going to introduce a couple maps for it as well, and then we have the. I guess I should also mention that we have a logic setup for it, so that you can actually queue these lobbies up, and it would be set up by Matchmaker. We had to look a lot at the logic to determine how to best set that up for you guys, so it would be determined correctly, and it would still, you know, use the same variables. So if there's too few people online, or there's too many lobbies open for the distribution of all the players, and you're setting up a lobby like this one, it will indicate to you that you need more players to join manually first before you open up that lobby to queue, since it's a very large lobby. But we also have some changes to other things. I know that the Stormbreaker is going to be undergoing some changes. Some of you guys have reported some AI issues that's being fixed. The arrangements in the guns and how it's been carefully tested has also been included. I want to say there was also changes to the Galleon, but I think, you know what, I'll leave all that stuff into the changelog when we post it, and we'll let you guys know as soon as we're ready to make the announcement. So we'll pick the postings then on the day of, and then you can follow up, and we'll do a little bit of a follow-up stream for that as well, so we can talk a little bit about that. So that's like our biggest news right now. Also, like in other areas, I guess I'll let Sean elaborate a little bit, but we've been busy with events. So Sean, go ahead and fill us in with what you know, and we'll go from there.
Perfect, because I just got an update as far as testing for Friday and Saturday, so your timing couldn't be any better on that. Testing for this week, we have a couple of big priorities this week. Number one, we have a new Brawl map that we're going to test in Dev App. It's based on Battle of the Dunes, so it's that open map. And of course, all sorts of chaos and everything on big open maps. I mean, hey, who doesn't like that, right? And they're also going to be testing a new blockade map, I believe. Yes, a new blockade map called Crown Summit. That's for PvE, so be sure to check that out. So we got maps on the rotation here this week, map testing for Dev App testing this weekend. Also, a friendly reminder to check out all of our weekend events on Twitch. Of course, you have the Crucible on Saturdays, 2 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UTC. That is a competitive event. If you are new to the competitive scene or are looking to kind of dip your toes into the competitive atmosphere of the game, Crucible might be a good event for you. Signups will be closed as of the release of the podcast, so be aware that signups actually close on Thursday, but you can always sign up as a sub, so that's an option for you there. Also, of course, be sure to tune in to Chaos Skirmish, 9:30 Eastern. Yes, it's late for our European friends, but we do have some people who join in from Europe every Saturday evening. That's at 9:30 Eastern, 1:30 a.m. UTC. And of course, on Sundays, we have Sunday Community Skirmish, which has been a staple of the competitive scene, one of the longest running events in the game. That is at 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC. Be sure to check out all of our events on Twitch.
Cool, cool. So we got a lot of things going on. Is there any kind of major, like, I guess I should actually mention this, but I'm not really sure how we're going to implement it just yet. It's one of those things, like, we always have little like side events that go on during updates, so we'll keep you guys posted on it. But I will say that we've had a huge injection of new assets from our art team. They've been working really, really hard. So it's possible we'll have more costumes in the future, more hats in the future, and I believe several of them, if not all of them so far, have been faction specific. So we're going to see how we can try to break that up for everyone that's involved with different missions and stuff. That way you guys can be a little more unique in your own crowd of friends and stuff. So there's that as well. I guess that's that. For the most part, like, I think we've been doing unstreamed dev games, as you may have known. We did this because of the scheduling and the availability of staff and just other challenges with the workplace. So we decided that engaging you guys in the game while playing has actually been, it's been pretty good. Like, we've had a chance to chat with you guys a little bit one-on-one, and having conversation about different things going on there as well. So I guess I should mention that Discord did go down this Tuesday, so we didn't have our weekly Coffee with the Dev Hour, but we will try to be back next Tuesday for that, assuming Discord is good to go then. So fingers crossed.
We need to bring coffee for Discord. Clearly, that was the problem. We lacked coffee.
Man, I was caffeinated like way up, and I don't know what happened. Like I was gone. I was done. You know. So I don't know. It was weird, but I guess they just didn't have enough coffee over at Discord. You know, I want to blame them for it. Obviously, we need to send them more caffeine. But yeah, on that note, guys, thanks for joining us. We will be back next week covering more of the updates. If there's an update with the in-game and stuff, we'll cover the content. If not, we'll discuss a little bit more about what we have in line and what's going to be happening moving forward. And then, yeah, just join us for the Dev Games, I guess. Next Tuesday, we'll be back then for more of that rousing PvP action as well as PvE with the devs ourselves. So until then, guys, thanks for flying with Guns Victors, and have yourselves a good weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one.